Smith, if you wanna call him tomorrow and schedule him to come out and just dig that up and fix that. I don't think it's gonna cost that much.
You didn't tell them to come?
I told him we had a board meeting tonight and we discussed it.
Okay. Well, we already approved up $5,000.
I know,
We gave time for bids and nobody did.
we approved Gary to determine where to spend it, how to spend it.
Just give me the number, give me their number.
Oh, yeah, I can get you a number.
I'll just call them tomorrow and say fix it. Time material.
Okay, 7 o'clock, let's call the meeting to order. We're at order at 7 o'clock, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Spicer here. Mary Phelps,
Here,
Karen Gruss,
for my last time.
Gary Gruss,
Yes.
Jason Ball. Here. Last time, yeah, that's right, I was gonna get a cake, not sick. We'll have to have a cake afterwards. Agenda, can I get a motion to approve, the agenda as presented or with changes?
It looks good.
I couldn't see anything that was.
I'm gonna just say something here is that, today I received a grant that's out there by FEMA for fire trucks. And it didn't look like we need to do a CIP to apply for it.
No way.
No, you don't. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
And, JC's got it, he's gonna take a look at it and then, we're gonna see what we could do.
Is there, well,
So that's not an agenda item particularly,
No, he-
but that's great news.
he can report out when you're done. That's good.
I just gave it to him at the beginning of the meeting. Move to approve the agenda as presented, did I get a motion?
Move.
Second.
Gary, Jason, all in favor, say aye. Aye, Gary. Meeting minutes from October 15th. Got meeting minutes from a closed session. Those are not public. We got October, closed session, that's not public, and November 4th, it wasn't public.
The November 4, isn't that? Oh, no, that's closed session. What
Yeah.
we do have is special meeting minutes because it wasn't a board meeting, so they're called notes. They're not called minutes, but we did make those up. I wrote them up today and gave them to Jason because he's the planning chair guy. So we
Well,
do.
they're gonna add those to the planning, meeting minutes, huh?
Like
Planning
to
Commission-
include them tonight.
Yeah, the
too.
planning commission will have their own set of minutes, but we thought maybe since there were board members not at that meeting, it might be good to read these of what was discussed at that meeting. I could either do it under my report or we could do it under minutes, whatever you think.
Well, it's not really minutes, if you got something else on there that we can call
We can call it either notes now or his trustee report
I'll do it under my
later.
trustee report then.
it. I mean, we can make a meeting, there and say, see, planning commission meeting minutes. If we want.
To put them where?
We can
Whether or
make,
not it's
we can make a
in-
meeting
really.
in our record for the township that says, go to the planning commission for reference to this meeting.
Okay, we'd still like to read them tonight because after spending money with 2 attorneys, we thought it was important, so.
So you're gonna read the meeting minutes tonight?
Yeah, well, the notes, we're calling them notes.
Okay. You gonna do that now?
That's the question.
Why don't
Do
you,
want it now or
since,
later?
Jason's our liaison, why don't we do that, on his report?
That's fine.
Then we're not taking up.
Then we don't have to change the consent
That's-
agenda.
That's right.
Michael Humier, he recorded a transcript of that whole meeting. I listened to that and I watched the YouTube video.
Right, right.
That, it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Very enlightening.
Yeah,
I say that I was denied BSNA. Karen sent it to me. I guess I didn't clear that one out. So F2 just doesn't count.
F2, strike,
Yeah, F2 doesn't mean anything. And thank you for getting me those.
you're welcome.
So we got F3, anyone questions on the payroll checks from 9/16 to 11/15?
Well, let's back up to the special meeting, board meeting minutes. Has anybody got anything with that? I don't, I just,
Thought we did the whole consent agenda.
No, we're working our way through it right now to see if there's questions on any of the individuals, and then we can move for all of them at once.
yeah, I don't, I looked at them, I don't see a problem. But I can't answer for everybody.
So are we ready to make a motion for the whole?
Well, you
consent
got
agenda?
expenditures. Anyone have any comments on expenditures?
I had a couple, but I asked the treasurer and I know what they are.
And, any comments on the bank balances?
Nope.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented?
So moved.
Who moved it?
Me, Karen.
Karen made the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
There's a second, this is money issues, so roll call. Ken is yes. Gary,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
Mary,
Yes,
Jason,
Yes.
information and reports. Anyone have any questions on the reports that we did get?
No, but I wanna say, looks like you did a nice job on this budget. So thanks.
Everybody should get an email from me today about all of my stuff.
yeah, I didn't see it yet. actually.
Okay, shall we move on to emergency services? I don't have the right, fire call there.
Jason wanted to do his report aloud this time. If you're skipping down to H.
Oh,
you
yeah.
went
you're
right
jumping all the way
by
down to
G
H.
10.
No, he's at,
I'm in emergency services H.
yeah,
Yeah, so you
Oh,
skipped
oh.
G10.
let's just let Jason read the minutes from.
Who cares where it goes? Just read them.
Well,
All right.
Kara's trying to plug it in, so it'd be
We're at
trying
G,
to.
we're on G10, Kara.
I mean, I think I got confused too, because normally we hear from JC, so we went past that. So I
we're
was-
zooming, Kara.
We're zooming.
We're moving right along.
Okay, all right. These were the notes from the special, joint, previously planned joint planning commission and board meeting. We had special guests Catherine Kaufman and Michael Homier, our two attorneys, one for the PC, one for the township. Planning commission called the meeting to order. Jason Bull explained why the meeting was not joint. Due to lack of notice on the door, the board could not have a quorum, so only trustee Bull and trustee Gress were present. Kara Laraway's terms had not yet begun. She assisted with the recording. The planning commission moved to follow the agenda prepared by Supervisor Spicer. We covered first D1 battery storage system text amendments. The Van Buren County PC concurred with the text. The board can accept, reject, make minor changes, or send back to the PC. Attorney Kaufman reviewed why her recommendation to clients had been for a workable ordinance, given the information available at the time. And then Attorney Homier reported on their firm's alternative viewpoint and the status of their appeal, being joined by 79 municipalities, one of which is Columbia Township. Attorneys seemed to agree that doing nothing was the riskiest option. Both attorneys concurred that we could continue with workable ordinance, that is. Both agreed that it is not too late to write a CREO. We were advised by Attorney Kaufman to work with Foster Swift on that track. Foster Swift's firm intends to request a stay on MPSC applications. If granted, such a stay offers more time for townships to prepare their ordinances. It was also suggested that we establish an industrial energy overlay district, allowing enough property to supply our local demonstrated need while not being exclusionary altogether. There is currently no payment in lieu of taxes or PILT that applies to battery storage facilities. Townships have no mandate to approve any tax incentive for developers. Then we move to accessory buildings on vacant lots. Cottage home square footage, barn dominium, Van Buren County PC did not occur with all of the text amendments. I'll just add in here that they really only addressed the accessory building one. They didn't say anything about the other two. The board can still accept, reject, make minor changes, or send back to the PC. The planning commission could break this three-part amendment into pieces for individual consideration, which was something we learned from the attorneys. If a citizen requests a public hearing of the board, and again, this is in reference to us receiving a certified letter requesting a public hearing after one had already been performed, which is a little more context to this, but it amounts to the same as a pre-scheduled public comment. The only notice required is to let the requester know that they are on the agenda. Again, that's from our attorneys. Then we talked very loosely about objectives of the Township Board and Planning Commission. That was, I think, in your absence, we didn't really know everything that you wanted to cover. So we just tried to follow your agenda as best we could, Ken. And zoning is optional for townships, but once adopted is governed by the Michigan Enabling Act. Attorneys confirm that the master plan is a guide, not necessarily a law. Zoning text amendments do not need to be in perfect lockstep as long as they do not grossly contradict the master plan. The board may request specific work from the planning commission, but they are their own entity and can proceed with their own priorities. Per the MTA, the planning commission may form a subcommittee as needed, and likewise, the board may approve or deny requests from the planning commission. On the matter of capital improvement plan, attorneys confirm that we are not required to write a capital improvement plan since we don't provide water or sewer, but that task falls to the planning commission. Zoning administrator Smalley said that our PC wrote a CIP a few years ago, so she will redistribute copies. I have since found that it was adopted by the board in December 2021. That's Karen's words. And then I also did find a couple copies of a CIP. So I think we might, if we want to reference that at all, we might need to figure out which was the last one that was actually adopted, but. And then lastly, text amendment process. Board members are not negligent in their duty if they simply rely on the work done by the planning commission. A board member may request a packet from the PC along with their recommendation, but the checklist requested by Supervisor Spicer is not necessarily required. If any board member disagrees with PC recommendations, they have one vote to oppose. And Attorney Homier commented it shouldn't be this hard. So that's what we covered in the meeting.
So hopefully that's gonna help planning commission along with whatever we direct tonight for the battery storage in particular.
The end.
Okay, we ready to move on? Jeremy, you want to tell us anything about what's going on in the township?
Not a whole lot changed from last month to this month. Still taking around average 70 calls per month. I have taken recently in the last probably 2 weeks, a couple of fraud cases, specifically targeted towards elders. So I've been advising people in the sheriff's office as well, advising people to be mindful of online scams, telephone scams, all of the things of that nature.
Anything on a lawsuit, Gary?
The letter's been sent to the executor of the estate who lives in Calumet City, UP. I sent an email to Leslie Abdu today, say I wanted a copy of the letter. She didn't respond yet today. Other than that, no. It's in the works for a court order, just like we did on 8th Avenue. Depends on the docket time and what can be put into the court docket at 7th District West. And we'll have to see how long it takes. One of the people there called, I spoke to him yesterday, and they are getting their ducks in a row to get their fifth wheel and their dogs and their cats and any other thing they have out of there. And if she has trouble with the other occupant that's on the property, I advise her to call myself and the deputy, and we could go out there and assist, but, she's gotta have everything ready to go. We can't spend a numerous amount of time out there. So she said, okay, so she'll let us know when she's got her ducks in a row and the trucks and equipment, and we'll go out there and we'll get it. And the other fellow that's out there, he just doesn't listen, he doesn't get it. I gave him a list of what he should do and when he should do it and why he should do it. And he doesn't really give a rip. So I left. So that's ongoing.
Okay, emergency services.
You were asking for the current numbers, 271 EMS, 113 fire as of. What is today? Yeah, so as of Sunday, whichever that day was, Sunday morning was our last call. So that's where we're at there. Our lieutenant, Aaron Heinstra has tendered his resignation because he is moving, or has moved actually now.
Who is that?
He's in Waterville.
Aaron Toonstra.
Aaron Heinstra.
Oh,
Yep,
oh.
Aaron Heinstra. He's been with us for a long time. Just gonna put it that way. He's been, I think it's in 13 years he's been with us, something like that. So he's just joining their department because he's just too far out of district to help us now. So there's that. Because of that, we're gonna move John up as the captain. And we're gonna move Joe into the lieutenant slot. So we're only gonna still keep 4 active right now, even though we budgeted 5. But that's the moves we're gonna make to make it all go and work correctly. Joe's got the most experience and the most pieces of paper behind him of everybody else that's not the old farts.
So John Mackey Taylor, is that how you say it? To
Yeah.
captain,
Yeah, he's now, he'll be the captain starting the 1st.
okay.
And then Joe will take over as lieutenant at that point. So that's what we got going on as far as that goes. I put out another call for help after working this weekend by myself on a lot of things. I did a full arrest by myself. Luckily, State Trooper Robertson was on scene. So I had my son backing me up in his blue Canary uniform. And then I did get one firefighter that showed up, Steven did. And then I pulled the next call by myself, nobody else around. And then Sunday morning, I pulled the fire call by myself. Chicken coop burned down in Breezeville. It was already burnt on the ground. But I took care of all of it, and then my backup showed up, Steven with a cadet, so.
Was
we
this
need to add-
related to a lot of people being away for deer hunting or?
It's related to the society that we currently live in. And so some of the things that we have to just accept, whether we like it or not, is that that's the way it's gonna be. That's why I put an all call for more help, what we do. When Mary was joking, saying maybe we merge, and it's probably not off the table. Right now.
I wasn't really joking, but I thought it was a good idea.
Well, our equipment is to the point where. I mean, I just turned in receipts for all of our, just general maintenance, for nearly $8,000, for just general maintenance for the trucks. And that's including the one that's older than young ones, and we're sitting over there. So. The stations have been woefully underkept. So as to stay in budget and so forth over the years. Not that it's been a bad thing, it's just the piper is needing to be paid now,
Mhm.
and it's all coming up at the same time. So,
Is Stephen he's an MFR, right? He had a
Nope.
lot of,
nope,
I thought I paid him under medical today.
no, that shouldn't have happened. No, correct. If he did, that was an error on my part.
Okay,
That's a negative.
okay.
I am running a class for EMRs in January and February. First 6 Mondays of the year. well, yeah. 6 Mondays in a row. And that will give us probably another 5 EMRs. And if you have a heartbeat and you have an EMR license, you're not a jerk bag, I'm gonna hire
What's the difference between an EMR and an MFR? Are they the
you.
same?
Same thing,
Same thing.
Yeah.
same thing. They changed the name to Mass National Registry, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Something like
That's 6 classes.
So Ken, you wanna
that.
re
It's
up?
not 6, I
What's
mean,
that?
yes, it's 6 weeks of classes, but there's only 6 in-person days.
Oh, okay,
There's about 20 hours of work to do weekly,
okay.
but it's asynchronous and it's neat there, so. And anything less than that, and they're just not getting anything usable.
Is that both, classroom and field?
They're not requiring any field work
Oh, okay,
for EMRs.
okay.
But it is all the classroom, it's all the testing.
Yeah.
And so forth and such on like that. I probably will pull in a couple from Bangor to help them. To learn. And I'm sure that I made the announcement today at Med Control. I'm sure there'll be more than enough. I'm not taking any more than 12 though. So our people are priority. That's the only reason I'm doing this class. And then we'll fill the rest.
Is there a cost to them or,
There will be as soon as I figure out how many people I have.
okay, you have to buy books and stuff?
Because the books, there's a negligible count for the books and the online stuff. For us, so we're looking at, I don't know, probably $60 total per person. To do that part of it. I'm doing it just because I don't wanna have my own heart attack and die. And so I'll just make that happen. So, and then my brother and I will switch up on that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people who are gone. A lot of people sick. A lot of people don't have medical. I was very surprised I didn't have as much backup as I thought I did. But, luckily I've been working out, so I was able to take the fire by myself. So,
God bless you, JC.
I appreciate it. The, going along with the Piper come and do, the septic tank, the septic system has never really been right. At stations, you've never really been right. And, it is not from the tank out to the field. It's from the tank back through the parking lot up the way. And we talked about this a couple of meetings ago. And without looking at 6,000, 7,000, something like that. To get that done, that does not include the repairs to the driveway, the parking lot. Now, I did put out requests for a proposal for several different people, and the only people that got back with me are the ones that we have, Lake Shore. So I am not willing to continue to wait for people that, I mean, we had 3 or 4 other people, oh, I want to be in it. Give me a bid, here's what we need. Just dinking around. Used to be, you had to beat them off with a stick,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, we'll only take 12 bids, right? You know, but now it's just like, you know, and you've had the same problem. You know, I wanna give you money. All you have to do is ask,
We
right?
found that with the electric, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Why they
still
give
have
you
no
money?
bids
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
parking
so-
lot lights.
Again, it goes back to we're living in a different kind of society. So that really should be done before snow flies on Thursday.
Are they recommending to put in a lift station out there?
Negative.
No, no.
They wanna do that gravity for that distance.
They said that all they need to do is, the pipe is crushed in a couple places, and that's the problem. I mean, they'll do whatever we ask them to do. I mean, if we wanna put a lift station in, they're great. The reality of it is, we're trying to maintain a couple of buildings, one that's been woefully underappreciated, and one that is older than
Dirt.
my car. My old car that I've already, you know, been scrapped out. Station 1 is useless. The only reason that we have station, you can't go to the bathroom there. Most of the lights don't work in it. Heat's a 50-50 shot, whether it's on or not. The exterior lights, meh, right? It's just a battle. I'm not opposed to getting a different structure, but to rehab what's there is a waste of money. You know, it'd be better just to bulldoze. say goodbye to it.
Band-Aid won't fix it.
Huh?
Band-Aid won't fix it.
A Band-Aid won't fix that station.
Right.
We can put some Band-Aids over here, we can put some lipstick on this pig and it'll be all right for a little while longer. But that pig is already processed into bacon, man, that is gone.
Can't be
Um,
used just as storage.
You can use it as a storage, but definitely you can't really use it because it was kicked around, well, we'll just we'll move Jeremy over there. There's no bathroom, there's no running water, I mean, I got the well there, but the well just had a huge fracture this summer, and so that's like licked and stick back together, right? I mean, the building is not doing well. And whenever I see a building that has to have cable ties to hold it up, that makes me just
Oh
go,
my
wowza.
goodness.
You know, I'm like,
Is that for real?
Yes, yes,
both
that's true.
sides.
Yes.
I mean, they're big cables. The shed that's there needs to, it's useless, that needs to go away. But I do need that storage if we're not gonna do anything about it. So some of the things that Ken and I have been talking about, my brother and the officers, are why not consolidate, have one station? And we were kind of like biding the time, thinking that this plant was gonna come through and at least assist with some of these woes. Well, now it doesn't look like that's, at least in the short term, fix. If we decide to wait, and that is an option, it's not a viable option, but if we decide to wait, you're looking at within 5 years, you might as well just bulldoze everything and start over again. I mean, it's gonna be that bad by then. We cannot just keep ignoring things and hope it gets better.
When you say everything, you just mean this station, right? You don't mean both.
And you smell station too? He has, when that sewer backs up, it's not fun. Both the furnaces out there are garbage. They work most of the time. The air conditionings were failing, but that was the end of the season, so we figured we'd wait on that for just a minute, but the air was failing. We've got some paint on there and it's looking a little bit nicer. We've got the lights in there. It's looking good. You can actually see now. That's great. We just repaired the one door for a stupid amount of money, but, that was something, the damage to that building, to that door happened over a decade ago. I tracked down when that damage actually occurred. It was a decade ago. And it was just the person that did the damage, oh, I'll fix it, blah, blah, blah. It never happened. And then it went to I'm not paying attention to it. So those things are going on. I'm not blaming them because it was so easy for me to lose track of 1 week. I lost a week. All of this stuff you should have already had in front of you to look at, to have, oh, it's on, but I lost a week. It doesn't matter why, but I did. Right? So it's easy to see how that works.
Well, the immediate is the sewer, isn't it?
The sewer will back up and it'll be a bugger if it does it in the winter time.
Yeah.
It's backed up no less than 4 times this year.
What are we waiting for?
Well, we've got that in the packet, so we're waiting
Yeah.
for that to come up.
What's up right now?
We're about up. at
Okay.
that.
It's on H1.
I have empathy with you on trying to get bids because we tried that with electrical. There are 5 different electrical
Please
contractors.
take our money.
Nobody answered it.
Right.
Kara, it was great to put it on the website.
Right.
Nobody from there. Matter of fact, if that's still on there, you can take it off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Although with my call for help, I did get a bite. Someone said, what does it take? I said, I'll train you. You said, show up.
So this bid that's in here for the $6,000 for the septic, you said that doesn't count for, is there asphalt cutting or something that has to be done?
So it's gonna come from the building along right where that pipe is out to the septic field. It's that pipe. They took a camera, they rammed it back up this way.
Is the septic field to the north of there?
Yes,
Okay. So we're probably in front of that tower somewhere.
yes,
Okay.
between the town and the road.
Okay, but you're having somebody come out to give an estimate on that as well? Or you don't know yet?
Well, that part of it is, I was just waiting for the starting point of fixing the sewer, right?
But to fix it, don't they have to cut that?
They do, and yes, we will have to get that done. That's a true statement. No idea what that would be. I would,
Okay.
What you ought to do is drive on it for a while to get it compact though, so you wanna put
Right,
gravel,
gravel.
put 6 inches of gravel in that.
Just run over
That
the
thing,
top.
and let's in the spring, we'll get you,
That's right,
asphalt and,
Yeah.
sealer and the whole thing down there.
because asphalting's gonna be stopping pretty quick now anyway.
Right, it'll be,
Probably already did.
it won't work right anyway.
So is there any more discussion on this sewer thing for the $6,000?
Is Lakeshore going to cut the concrete?
If not, that's gotta be done, and I would move to approve that bid that you got for the sewer.
We have it written down here already, move to approve, Lakeshore Plumbing and Septic to replace the sewer line under Station 2 asphalt not to exceed $5,500.
Okay,
Is that your motion, Gary?
it is.
That's Gary's motion. Can I get a second?
I will.
Karen, this is money. Ken is yes. Gary,
Yes,
Karen,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unfinished business is the parking lights. We already talked with Gary about that. I'd like to add one thing to that. The generator has the yellow light on it. And when the electricians are out there, they said they could change the oil and get it,
okay,
yeah.
okay, if, I can check with Colasar Electric too, he's commercial and residential licensed. He services a lot of them.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll give us a good deal on it.
Oh, the town compliant.
And you already got $5,000 to work with, so we don't have to prove anything. That's the only thing I wanna say on that. 1.2
Did you say
is
it was-
resolution for township board to determine the method of renewable energy ordinance.
Ken, can I just, for my own notes?
Yeah.
For the parking lot lights, was the company Midwest Electric? Is that who you said has come out and looked at it?
Midway
Midway.
Midway.
Electric, out of Lawrence.
Okay.
But I don't know that they're down there. I'll check the bank or our.
So then I two.
Yep, I too is we're coming up with.
Cause funding was already approved for the parking lot lights.
Correct,
Yep,
Okay.
not to exceed 5,000.
right.
One, two, I reviewed the video and then I listened, I read the deposition of the meeting. And then I, had a conversation with, Homey Air, and then I wrote this resolution. Then I sent the resolution to Homey Air to, look at it, and, basically, it's, what you got is what he wrote at the end. The big thing about it is, we calculated that we use about 7 megawatts of total power, which would be the need for the township in 2040. And I increased that to 10 just to have a buffer. And when I was talking to Homey Air, he said we should increase that to 50. Cause that's the minimum that the state said.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be the only change to the resolution if you guys want to approve the resolution.
Did he say we had to do a resolution rather than a motion? Or why?
Well, he says that basically you're gonna give the planning commission some directions without giving them directions. You're gonna tell them that you gotta pick a location that's not in a residential area, stay away from the water. Think about the noise, and what I did is I looked around to see what I could find, and I found Consumer Power owned 20 acres of land on those power lines.
Section 32,
Pardon?
section 32.
Correct.
Yep. that's
Yeah,
where
I
we-
had found that
we
same
looked at that.
parcel before.
And then you got Bocky's right there that's got that large blueberry field, which would follow in for your acreage that you need for total acres for 50 megawatts. So that's why that was selected.
So you're saying this is direction to the planning commission that they can accept or reject or tweak, right? Or not? Or are you
Well,
saying we're not gonna accept anything
what it
else?
says is the township board is returning it to them to do one of 4 things.
And Homier said at the meeting, we could do more than one thing. we didn't have to, we could do workable and an overlay and a Creo was what I thought he said.
Right.
Did you hear it that way, Jason? I mean, I'm not sure, I think we should, but I thought between him and Catherine, I thought they
yeah, I
said
think
that.
you could have things overlapping while you're waiting for time to pass or whatever.
And the reason that would be good to do anyway, because if the stay goes through, which it probably will, then the 29th of this month doesn't apply anymore. Because the MPSC can't take any applications.
Right, that's not a guarantee that
No,
we
it's
will
not.
get
It's
it, but
not.
it sounded
Right.
promising.
That's right. So,
And he said we have time.
Right.
The deadline of that is not serious. He
Right.
believes he's gonna get a stay.
yeah,
He said that if they go and apply for it right now through the state, it's gonna take them a couple of years to get.
right, right.
So if we were to tweak the workable, there is almost more risk in that now than there was before, so it seemed. I mean,
Well, there's nothing,
because if you do a workable and they say they can agree to it, they will in fact apply and do it. But if the workable now changes the location to an overlay, Vesper would probably no longer be interested. I don't know what they would do.
there's nothing to say you can't do a Creo as well. I mean, from what I understand, if your partners in the area need a Creo as well, I think Arlington Township is working on a Creo right now. And if that's the case, it's also my understanding that the county needs to have a Creo.
Mhm.
So we've got time to discuss and have the planning committee maybe look at it and tweak a little bit more on this, but, and it doesn't mean just because we would apply or recommend a Creo or maybe even adopt a Creo, we could amend that. And we can even amend the workable ordinance to include whatever we would need to include.
Well, my understanding of the workable ordinance though, is that it's not all that enforceable. That somebody could say they're gonna do everything, start construction of the process, and either during construction or sell it later and not meet all the terms, and that we can't really enforce it because it was not state approved. Do you think that's true? I think you're probably gonna have Foster Swift work with you guys more to finish this up, don't you?
100%.
Yeah, because nothing's finished yet with the state.
So maybe for us, rather than give direction, we just bring it back to the planning commission. But the one thing that sounded like the worst thing was to do nothing, which I think there were a couple people on your commission that wanted to do nothing. And I took from both attorneys, that was the worst option.
Mhm.
If you do nothing, the developer's gonna go to the state. That's what, they're gonna go to MPSC and do it. That's
Right.
what they're gonna do.
But more than likely, we think Foster Swift's lawsuit is gonna hold up MPSC for everybody, not just Creos.
Mhm.
But there's some unknowns still.
And-
What do you feel the most comfortable with for how to carry it back to the commission?
Well, I don't know the answer to that because I'm new enough that I don't honestly understand the need for a resolution on this, and maybe you can explain, like, is this resolution saying that the planning commission has to pick one of these four options only,
Mm-mm.
or,
I don't think so, because when, Homier sent it back, he struck out when it says pick one. And there was four different options there.
Mhm.
So
He-
you can
he
have
sent
one option.
A red line, and that was struck.
That's right.
I
He went and told me that your best option is the overlay, industrial overlay. Because you're designating where it's gonna go in your
Right,
township, you're
right.
gonna stay away from your lakes. You're gonna stay away from the residential, you're gonna stay away from the wetlands. And that you need to go find out where it is best to put it in the township, the best thing for your community. He says, here you got your vendor putting it right by a Eagle,
Yeah.
area that's, and it's close to residential areas and you just gotta pick out the right spot. That's what he said, but he says the overlay is gonna protect you the most because
Yep.
our needs are not that much. They can't come in here and tell us that we need a 200 megawatt facility because we're only gonna use 10 of it and it's really not gonna benefit us at all. And that's kind of what I got out of talking to him
Yeah.
and what I got out of what he said to you at the meeting.
And the benefit of us having an overlay area is that if the developer doesn't like it, too bad. Too bad.
Yeah.
So,
So the
Well, I think
criteria,
the
the
state
criteria
could
in here
override.
kind of leads you where the area. In section 7, it says where the township should determine the selected area for land use considering the follow: cluster of residents, lake, stream, ponds, loud noise in the future, current and future character of the landlording, neighborhood property values, contamination of soil and fumes.
yeah,
And that's really what you should be doing anyways.
So, so the resolution is just, a very formal spelled out directive to the planning commission, rather than just say, hey, we motion to go back to the drawing board. Is that why we decided to do a resolution?
What this does is sends it back to the planning commission, asking them to consider these items. And come back to us with whatever you think out of the 1 to 4 items.
Okay,
and also.
But they're not really restricted to just one item if they want to do a combination.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't know why we would do a combination, that would just make more trouble for us.
I could have sworn that's,
The workable
The impression
ordinance,
I got
I think would be changing all the time for every new,
the workable would be
Constantly be
changing.
changing.
The Creo, it sounded like that would be set once.
yeah, what's not clear to me is if you need to have a combination of a Creo and an overlay. I feel like maybe those two work together. But that's where we would need to get a little more direction from Foster Swift.
Yeah.
your overlay will be over the ag district. It's gonna be renewable energy overlay for the ag district. That's
Right, but doesn't an overlay just basically define location, whereas the Creo then would also define any other ordinances you wanted to add, like
Right.
setbacks,
Yeah.
noise,
Yeah,
Right.
that's
lighting.
why I took it, you need
Yeah.
both of
Yeah.
them.
So, but yeah,
But, the overlay, in fact, you got, Michigan Blueberries Association. You got True Blue and you got, Stokes, that's all industrial, and you got some guy that's got a machine shop down on 215. And basically, what our master plan says is that we try to put these things on county roads. So that you have all your industrial stuff on a county road, not on a back road, because you're gonna have a lot of heavy
Right.
equipment.
Right,
So that's kind of another thing that you need to take into consideration. And that's why the 215 is right next to the power lines. There's no residential area there per se, and a lot of acres.
okay,
So this list of things for them to consider, or for the township to consider, there could be other things that are not on this list yet, right? I don't know.
All this resolution does is send it back to the planning commission to reevaluate and come back to us with their findings. And the findings are listed in there, what they need to look at. Does that make sense?
so there's nothing's that would be.
We could have done it with a motion, but for some reason. you
Well, there's a
just
lot of
have it real
information in
formal. There is a lot of information.
And all that information leads you to what you have to do.
When did Homer go over it too, and he redlined it, so.
He did.
He didn't say you don't need
On
those.
my print copy, they're green lines.
So this
My
resolution,
printers-
all this resolution does is allow the planning
But yeah,
commission
this
to
is
look at
the
things. We're not okaying anything as far as any,
Correct, they gotta
Yeah, as
decide.
long as
that's the
we're
way
not
going.
picking it
Yeah.
for them.
right.
We gotta say if we like it or not, and if we don't like it, we send it back to them and we have to give them the reasons, and that's kind of what that does.
So if, last question, I think, if we adopt this resolution, then that effectively puts a bow on our work here on the battery storage issue. Like, we don't even have to vote on the workable ordinance anymore because this is get back to the planning commission, right?
Is that part of this? I was thinking it said that we're not accepting, but maybe I'm dreaming that part.
What this is doing is the township board is not approving the the workable ordinance. They're asking you to reconsider it
Yeah,
Right.
with these four things. So you have no ordinance telling you what you can do where anything at this point in time. I do suggest that we change that to 50 megawatts, wherever that was something that homie Eric told me, late yesterday afternoon. Cause I think I had 10.
in item 8. You've got
7,
some different calculations. You've got megawatts required for agriculture.
Number 9.
says, it's calculated at 7, but
Okay,
no, it's
so
at 9.
it's-
You
So
wanna
it's
say,
in 9 where
from
you're
10 maximum, you
Yeah.
wanna change that to 25 maximum megawatts,
25 or 50?
50.
50, I'm sorry.
50's gotta be the minimum.
Yeah, we gotta have 50 in there.
So are we about to do a motion to accept this with the change to item 9 to be
Yeah.
50 maximum megawatts?
Did you get the change to the resolution? I got a better copy of this. I see this thing's all over the place.
My format's good. There's a couple little things, but not much.
It'd be two.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve resolution
No,
twenty
this one's
twenty-four?
after.
You got a number on this? XXX?
Oh, I didn't think of looking that up, but that's something we want to make
We
sure
will get a number and put that in the meeting minutes.
consecutive.
A resolution for renewable energy future planning to go back to the planning commission for more consideration. Can I get that motion?
Did you say it with the one correction?
Correct.
Or the-
Did Jason's question get answered? Does it come back then to the board again?
We'll have to come back.
It
to
would
the-
have to
Yeah,
come
well,
back. It would have to-
I just meant for any other further discussion, I mean, there's other items on our agenda tonight about battery storage, but those are irrelevant now, right, when we send this back?
Yeah, as far as my thinking is,
I didn't know what we were gonna do with this one.
I see.
And if we didn't approve this one, then we would be into this one, and then we would have to talk when we're gonna have a public hearing.
Please approve.
I'll make the motion.
Jason made the motion, can I
I'll
get a
second
second?
it. I will second it.
Mary made a second. Is there any money involved in this? No, it's a resolution. We need a vote.
Yeah,
The resolution.
Ken says yes, Gary,
yes.
Karen,
yes.
You know,
Mary,
Yes.
we're all agreed.
Yes.
Isn't that something? Okay, the battery energy storage system, we're gonna skip that.
Do we need any, oh, I did want to actually thank you for running the energy calculations.
Oh, no problem.
Now, regarding, I3 and this 10 acres, it's ag, do we need to,
Oh, I did have another comment about I3.
okay,
When it's talking
that's
about,
gonna be the overlay.
yeah.
We're
specifying-
not gonna, we don't need to discuss that. That's going back to the planning commission.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
It was on the agenda. As far as where we were just talking about possibly doing the overlay, the other thing I remember hearing about with the location that Vesper started with, that one school district had the possibility of a great gain and the other school district had no possibility of gain, would it make sense to have more than one overlay? So that if somebody buys something, each school district has a potential, but only if there's a reasonable site, but.
The only way you could do that is move up in the township, into land up farther in the township, then you don't have access to the high energy.
Okay, so it would never make sense.
No, so you're sticking
None
with
of these
Bangor
other-
pretty much the
What
whole
about
way.
windmills and
Yeah,
other things? Do they
Yeah.
all have to be really close to the line?
yeah, they gotta be able to
Okay.
get power on the high energy.
Yeah,
All
they all
right,
generate
so,
power.
sorry, Bloomingdale's out of luck. Bangor gets the win if anybody does.
I think he said that at the meeting, didn't he? Like, or she did, that you can't move it from one school to the other.
Oh, right,
Right,
right. We
right.
wouldn't be able to move the funds unless it was physically, if the parcel is in a different school district.
Okay.
Okay, we done with 1-3?
Yes, we are.
1-4. I just threw this in here to show you I'm working on the capital improvement plan. And I'm trying to work with Jason to, get us some money for a fire truck. We did get a, grant, we come in today, we gotta look at that, we might be able to use that process to send it out and show them how poor we are. So that was just for information, I gave you what it looked like. Any comments on it?
It was a lot of work. You answered one of my questions, if you are in fact working with JC and not just on your own. But the capital improvement plans actually come through the planning commission, and I know they've been tied up with other things. But this should still go through them at some point because it's tied with the overall master
Master
plan.
plan.
So I know you carved out like one part of it for emergency services, partly because we thought that part needed.
I
to
have
be-
5 projects generated for him in emergency services. 5 projects.
No, but it's all emergency services, the master plan. this has
Everything
to
I'm
be-
working on emergency services so that we can get going on getting grants.
Okay,
Okay, but
this has to be included in the master plan as well, which goes through the planning.
the
commission.
planning commission, you can work on
can
it
work
and give
it.
it to them,
Yeah.
but I don't think it would be done. I mean, or you guys can work on it,
Well,
or do a,
The plan has to be, at a public hearing by the planning commission before approval. What he has here, I don't think requires a capital improvement plan, so I don't think we have to have
right,
that
the
one
FEMA
approved.
thing was great news tonight. Have you ever applied through FEMA before? Probably you personally have not.
I have.
I have a silly-
which grant is it?
Huh?
Do you know which grant it is through FEMA?
It's, FEMA for emergency services.
And then the AFT grant just came out within a day or two.
It's not the AFT one? Okay. Sorry, Mary, did you have a
No,
question?
go ahead, I'll wait.
Help me understand this, cause I'm a newbie. I had sent out the capital improvement plan that was adopted by the board in 2021. That was a 6-year plan. It did have some emergency services things in there called out. Why do we need another one? Couldn't we have applied for grants based off that?
What we're doing is not a plan, it's a project. You understand?
No,
No, what's
No,
the
I
difference?
You have
not
a CIP
understand
that is
a
your,
plan
your
versus a
policy
project.
and your procedures on how to generate a capital improvement plan. And it gives you all the information, like if I was doing a, recreational, I would take the stuff out of that plan related to reelection,
Recreational.
yeah, boy. I need to upper. Yeah, probably train of thought. Anyways, you'd have one for that. You take the information out of that and develop your project plans. So that's just where you get your information for your project plans. That's why it's got all that for everything in there. See what I'm saying?
I'm confused. So there's capital improvement plan. That's the one that they.
That's really your procedure that's tied to the planning
And then
commission.
CIP also stands for capital improvement
It's a capital improvement project.
project. Okay.
So you got a project and you got a
I
plan.
wonder if that's where some confusion is.
Well, I'm sure it is because
They're both Ps.
Well,
They both say CIP.
you had been saying to me and the planning commission for quite some time, we need a capital improvement plan so we can apply for grants. And I didn't understand that there's a differentiation because we have a capital improvement plan. And I'm like, why can't we use that to apply for grants? We have one.
If you read in that plan, there's attachments in the back that require you to fill out all these forms, are the forms that I'm filling out for JC.
So really what you're doing is more of a capital improvement request, right? It's not really a plan.
I'm doing a project plan, because what I have to do is I have to look at everything that he's gonna need capital over a 20-year period and lay them out on a grid, so that whoever looks at it can see, yeah, you need money. We need to get you a grant. You're not gonna be able to afford to do this.
And then isn't there also a capital budget? Cause it almost sounds like what you're describing is the budget. Or is
That
that yet
works into
another
us,
term?
us
Says
giving
plan, it
budget
doesn't
money
say
for the
plan.
capital improvement plan.
Yeah, it's gotta be workable with the budget,
Correct.
because most of these grants, do have,
80-20 or something like that.
That one is requiring 5% on the truck.
yeah.
On the one you just gave me, yeah.
Yeah, one I gave you is 5% on the truck. So if you got $1 million truck, you gotta come up with 5% on it.
Yeah, well, most of them, the minimum is 5%. A lot of them are 15 and
Well,
20.
most of them are 20.
Well, that's right, that's right.
So do we have any idea historically what the odds are on a FEMA grant?
What, are you getting the grant?
Probably.
I see a lot of people getting grants. So Coleman got a whole bunch of grants just for putting up their,
So what he's saying is they're available, but no, we don't have any, we don't have any history on it, so we can't voice an opinion.
Well,
We can apply. we
the
can
reason I want to be clear on this is because it was definitely suggested or stated that the planning commission wasn't doing their job because we weren't writing a capital improvement plan. I mean, that was, and it was like, well, why are you spending time on ordinances? You should be doing a capital improvement plan. And I guess maybe we need clearer instruction as a planning commission, because we have a plan. But if you're saying that the planning commission is supposed to fill out these forms to make the request for fire trucks, I don't think the planning commission knows
well, they
that.
have to work with JC just like I am. I don't know what his fire truck's gonna cost or when he needs it. I could guess it's gonna be 25 years from the time he bought it, but it might run real good and it might go 30 years or something.
Okay,
So there was a miscommunication from what I'm hearing, because we do have a capital improvement plan. It's in place, it was established and adopted.
Yeah, and it says the planning commission is gonna generate it.
And what?
It says the planning commission is gonna generate it.
It's already in force, it's already been done.
It's already built into it that they are going to do all the projects and get the public hearing.
That's the part that's being
You're
clarified tonight.
talking projects versus
Well,
plans.
it even
Yeah.
says plan in
Okay.
here, so that's why it's confusing.
Okay,
okay.
Now, the first time we sent that to the planning commission, they took out all our attachments, all our exhibits. And then sent it back to the board for approval, and Chrissy K says, why'd they got it? Because you gotta do the attachments. The attachments are what takes you to the program.
well, that's another.
I have a dumb question. When was this fire station built? When did we develop the fire station, the firemen?
It was over 15 years ago.
When did this all
Talking
get,
about stage two?
yeah, when did we become a fire? When did we
Oh,
decide
that
to have?
happened in 99.
Okay, so 99. So at 99, wouldn't they have made like this projected thing and it's like, okay, I gotta save 50 grand a year for this fire truck? I mean, wouldn't that be somewhere
Yes.
where,
Wish I could tell you where it's at. I think it's the same place where Jason's stuff's at.
See, the problem JC has here, and I'm gonna be pretty blunt. He inherited a mess. And the poor guy's trying to catch up.
Yeah,
I-
we know that.
I get that,
Jason,
but
you said there was a plan for something for fire department already out there?
yeah, there's a capital, it's in the capital improvement plan right here.
Since 2021.
Okay.
So you didn't know,
Oh, hey,
no. And
That's-
it was
that's be-
approved, it
that's
was
because
adopted.
The terminology was, there was a
Super, that's for me to work,
misunderstanding in the terminology
Yeah.
versus plan and project.
sure.
That was the thing. So that's clarified.
But it does sound like the needs of a fire department are so
Even pictures of your
specific.
fire trucks in it.
Yeah, so,
Which is what you just asked me for.
You haven't, that's old.
I know, but I,
Did you get new ones
I
since
get
then?
that, but
It's
you just
currently
asked me to go,
enforced through
so that's that.
2027.
I need new pictures for the ones, we got rid of the DNR truck and
I believe.
I don't think we replaced that, have we?
the cover
We
sheet
have
looks
not.
better than. the
We gotta
one.
do that next year, right?
The 86.
I think
Be
that,
nice, yeah.
Huh?
The DNR truck was the ambulance
Yeah.
truck.
That's gone.
Stop running, yeah.
So we
I'm
had,
so
three-
confused.
we had 3 DNR trucks.
Yeah, that were
One was all
donated.
white. The white one that we use for QR,
Mhm.
and we had the 2 pickup trucks that we
Two
use for
versions.
grass. We still have one of those. One of those. The other 2, they just died. So we gave them back and you can have these husks.
Right,
And so we gave them back.
You had a white Blazer.
Right, that was a DNR vehicle.
Yeah, you still have that one?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay, good.
That's long gone.
Yeah, okay.
And that program really is dwindling, because I was actually asking the DNR, hey, you got any trucks laying around that I could have? And they're like, no, we're not. The most we could get would be like another side by side, but the reason we went with the one we've got rather than that is we'd have to give the side by side back to them if they needed it. This way this is our,
When you gave the, I think it was the 86, the DNR one,
Yeah.
okay? Did you keep the back on that anywhere? Do we have that?
the pump stuff,
Yeah, he's talking,
the pump skid, we still have.
Yeah, you
the
got
pump skid is
Yeah,
in
because
station one.
that could fit on another chassis.
they just laid out, yeah.
Yeah, it just bolts into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bed.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We
okay,
have that.
yeah. Okay,
so you're writing a project proposal for certain things for that.
that should coordinate with the plan, right? Is that how it works?
I'm gonna reread this and make sure. I
At some point in
understand.
time, I'm gonna send it to the planning commission. For what we're doing right now, they're not asking for a capital improvement project plan.
That is true. They're just. what do you
FEMA
need?
doesn't need it.
Right, all they're asking is, do you need it, what does it cost, is all they're really asking.
Yeah.
They don't-
Yeah, well, and
They're not
they're
asking
and they're
for-
gonna wanna know our budget and what our maintenance expenses are for the year, blah, blah,
And
blah.
is it a specific dollar amount or it's certain equipment or?
I literally got it tonight, as I said.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But the bigger question on this whole topic is, yes, we might get a FEMA grant for a fire truck. It doesn't solve all of our capital needs. We have a fire station that's falling down. We don't have the money in our general fund to support this year to year. So I think, do we need to start thinking about, do we take this to the voters? I mean, I don't see another option. If we don't have the funds to do what needs to happen over there, we either let that die. Or don't we need to go and say, do you guys want, you want this, you gotta increase taxes?
Go to the vote of the public.
What's that?
Unrestricted,
I do have a question about mills, something about, I've always been confused about, it. What does 1 mil equal? Like,
about $120,000.
right, but if I was and I am a taxpayer in the township, what does 1 mil come out of my pocket, what does that look like to me, $10, $100?
I think it's $1
think
for
it's-
every $1,000 of
Yeah.
property value, which is
So it
what the
would
mill
be-
is.
$1 for every 1,000.
Yeah, so
So what-
if you have property worth $100,000,
Which there aren't any. They're all more than that. I mean, I hate that.
well, I just was using it as an example.
Yeah, it's a nice round number, but it's,
Just for math purposes,
And then times it by
Yeah.
it
four.
would be,
Well, your SUV is half of your total cost, so if you had $1,000, you gotta take half of it and then divide by 1,000 and multiply by 2.
Yeah, did you get that?
I heard the math. I was looking for just a general number.
I'm sorry, Jason, I should have
Okay.
grabbed you. On
No,
a
it's okay.
$100,000 house, what would it be? Dixie?
tell me if I have this right.
Yeah,
If
100
your,
bucks.
if your
Hey,
taxable
that's the
value,
number I'm looking for,
he's got,
$100.
if your taxable value is 100,000, which we think is
Sure.
low,
It's low,
It's not gonna
Just for
happen.
math.
your current 2.0 is the 200. And then if we're talking about an additional half a mil or mil, it's either gonna be 50 or 100
So
more.
if, for me, I'd be, if we say it's just gonna be three, I'd be paying $300 a year for fire in my taxes.
Right,
100 additional over the 200 you're already
Exactly,
paying.
I was just trying to understand it
right.
from a taxpayer standpoint, so that I know when I'm looking at, my
Yeah.
tax bill, what parts, because people are gonna ask me, and I need to have at least some sort of a semblance of,
And here's the part, cause it doesn't sound as bad when you just take out a piece of it. Here's the part that I keep looking at as a taxpayer. If you're only at the 100,000 taxable value, which we've already said is
Right, right,
low,
right.
your overall taxes are over $5,000. So it's like, it's an add-on to something that's already high. That's why you hear me like, I don't want more taxes, because it's everything. It's
I
not
get
just
it.
one item.
So there's a lot of things that we're paying taxes on inside of our township that maybe we need to take a look at.
I think we need to
The
do.
ones
the
internal,
Elon
I don't
Musk
think we can lower.
Department of Government Efficiency. I think we do that first before we spend another dime.
We bring Elon in.
Yeah.
For Vivek.
Would that be nice?
Okay, we need to move on.
I do have something to say about that. I don't want my taxes increased either,
Sure.
obviously. I need to know, and I know that you guys had this daytime person, and I don't wanna say Joe, but you have the daytime person. Here's where I'm getting hooked, JC. Is I look at the stats, he does, 5 or 6 calls, daytime or whatever. And when I divide that by what he's making, it's like $550 a call, and it just does not seem to me that that's the most efficient way. And as a taxpayer, that's what I'm gonna look at. You may need the money for other things, and I would see that if it was efficiently run, but that is still not computed in my head. That we're not, doesn't that seem like a lot, or is it just me?
That's something that only you can answer. I mean,
I'm saying as a
I'll tell you,
taxpayer, when
no, I
I
get
see
it.
someone going on a call and making $550,
and,
this started out as a trial program.
but that is not what's.
This
going
started
on.
out as
I
a
mean,
trial program.
He's not making $500 an hour. Now, let's be realistic.
No, I said a call. I said the taxpayers are paying
Okay.
$550 a call.
So let's then look at cost recovery options. We talked about this last month. There are companies out there that make their money by gathering in your money. Hey, billing company and I don't know, my brother knows all this stuff. We just ran on, this location. Bill their insurance $500. We get the $500, it offsets that cost that you're talking about. I'm cool with that, let's rock on with that. This is, but then the other part of it is, well, I'm paying taxes, I shouldn't have to be billed. Well, the taxes go to have the thing there.
Right.
To then turn the wheel. I mean,
Well-
there's some of this is philosophical, but here's my thing, as a taxpayer, and I'm gonna step outside of being who I am, I don't know how I can, but I will. If I call 911, I don't care how much it costs. When I call 911, I'm having a bad day. That's me. Right, I'm having a bad day, I don't care how much it costs anybody in the world, $3 million, don't care. When I call, I want someone there.
Yep.
Right,
JC,
in
I-
the moment, that's
I
how
agree.
somebody
That's how,
feels.
in the moment, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with the 911
Sure.
call, mentality. The problem is you got some of these people that fell out on the ground or fell out on the chair
Preach it,
and they
brother.
call 911
Yeah.
and it's not a 911 call.
I got it,
And the
Right.
other thing is,
but how
a
about the dead body that I had to work
lot
on
of these
Saturday
lift
morning?
assist things,
I mean,
we should start charging the people for it.
It might be a cost recovery thing to talk about. We're getting off for
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Well,
But
we
it
have,
is
we
in the-
have a
in the-
large problem.
in
It's,
the
there's,
scheme
that's
of
a piece
things.
of it. That's a piece. I mean, it's
Right.
all,
Right.
the large problem is we have a
Take a bite.
service that the 2 mills that we collect doesn't cover.
Right,
Which it wasn't.
Is that correct? Is that accurate, Ken? And I mean,
but
Well,
Mary, let's go down your track. Even if we take away the EMR,
There's
take
a-
away their position, there's still not enough money there to run the fire department forward. There wouldn't be enough to buy those trucks and to keep this stuff up. So yes, you're right. Doing that caused this to accelerate, but we were already on the way to death. And I'm probably gonna get beat up for my brother, but here's the options that I see. We either. And I don't, you have to know I'm all right with either way. I'm at a point now where I don't give a flying rat's butt. We could close the doors and walk away. Just totally shut it down. Let somebody else worry about it. But what you're saying when we do that is we're gonna wait for them to come out of South Haven or Bangor or Bloomingdale with the fire services. So whatever it is that's on fire, just know that it's already gone. Know that it's already on the ground, it's gonna be unusable. You're gonna bulldoze it.
Isn't that the way it is most of the time anyhow?
No, we stop a lot of fire. Room and contents, they fix that. Now, a chicken coop built by hand on the pallets, that's pretty much,
It was gone, huh?
that was on the ground. I saved 7 chickens and a duck. Oh, you know, one chicken.
I have chickens in a duck.
One duck
7
did not
chickens in a
make it.
duck. That's weird.
But I'm just saying, that's what, well, I love your house, no.
No.
But now take away that it's something that is a thing. Building burn downs, who cares? We'll get insurance to pay it, whatever. Person doesn't have insurance. Now you've got people walking the roads. I think I overheard you say there's I won't say vagrants, there's people that don't have a home, they're walking the roads, diving into ditches to hide from people, and now you got a bigger problem going on there. Okay, fine. Now, it's something that I can fix medically. And there's no coverage. I'm here to tell you that you have 4 to 6 minutes for brain death to start occurring. Do you want that 4 to 6 minutes to be burned up and somebody driving? Or do you want them to be there working? I know for me that my brother and I can take care of ourselves. He'll call me, I'll take care of him, and vice versa. Life will find a way. But for me, if I was looking at it from the outside and on the inside, I would probably put a padlock on the door and call it a day. I would, for me right now, this fight it feels like I'm trying to get you to take my money. Right. But you won't take my money. I'm trying to get a dollar. You don't want to give me that, fine, let's not get that dollar. It's not a slam, it is the realization that some things are gonna have to go the way of the dodo bird in order for there to be something better. Sometimes you have to let it die.
Well, my whole point though is that I don't know that we should be the ones that decide that.
I agree.
Shouldn't that be the citizens? Like,
I agree.
it seems like so much has changed since 1999. Like, there's all these things that have changed. And like, I just wonder, do our citizens have any comprehension of what it takes to run what we have now or to keep it up? And shouldn't they be the ones that decide? Like, we go, hey, you guys, we've had this for however many years. It's gonna cost this. We can't afford it. Do you want it or not? I mean, that's the ultimate, that's the great thing about a vote.
And over the 25 years, when this originally started, the amount was higher because there was knowledge that they had to build a building.
Well, 1999, you didn't have 1/4 of the requirements that the state imposes upon us now. Right? For us as firefighters, you must do 24 hours of continuing ed every year. You must. Not recommended, you will, or we're gonna yank your certification. For EMS, it used to be a lot lower, 15 hours. Now, if you don't do 35 hours, you must do, otherwise we're gonna yank your license. And we're caught between that and how are we gonna fund this? And not only that, but then you're adding in the level of people can't volunteer as they used to because they physically can't take the time away from working to do the volunteer. I mean, so you're not wrong, man. You've got all these plates spinning up there. The reality of it is, we could probably operate for 5 years. 3, I was being optimistic. Before, there's not one more dime to be had. No matter how much I save and scrimp. You know, how many times I say no to my brother, you know, how under budget we come, it's not gonna matter. In 3 to 5 years, if we don't do something, if we don't take it to the voters and say, listen, this is what's going on, regardless of how much money we're paying, it's hasta lasagna, don't get any onion. And if that's the decision, that's cool. But let's make it, let's do it on purpose and not because we're being forced to do it because we were not paying attention. Because that's what happened to my church. They were forced to make a decision on the back end because they weren't paying attention and being part of the process in the front end. And it is an awful, awful mess.
You're running out of people. You're getting tired and old, like the rest of us. So
And the new
what if you're
generation
not gonna
wants,
have this generation?
if you can figure that one out, then you have now taken care of the educational system in the United States of America. But I'm here to tell you right now, my assistant, who is 22, 21, does not have the same value set as I do,
No,
Right?
right? I have X amount of sick days. Right? Right now, I've got 83 sick days banked up because I don't use them very often. She's only been working a year, she's almost out.
Well, and that's another thing we've got coming up. We've gotta start, you know, and I don't know how that's gonna affect the fire department, but that's another expense.
well, work ethic affects everything.
So,
Another you must, an unfunded mandate, right? So I agree with Jason, send it to people. This is what we need to make this work. Do you wanna do it? Yes, no? Pretty simple.
See, there was a survey done a couple of years ago.
Locally or somewhere else?
No, in our township. And if you look through that survey, there's nothing in there about fire department,
Yeah, it wasn't really on the radar.
nothing. They want restaurants and
Sure.
they want
Sure,
drinking establishments or whatever, you know.
until something goes south and they're like, oh crap.
or do they
That's right.
assume there's always gonna be
That's right.
those
Well, and
things?
that's the thing. That's why we, knowing that those things are gonna happen, have to say, yes, you are not wrong, and I wanna give you those things. But if we don't have protective services in place, if I don't have a water tower for you or a sewer system, you can want one hand and crap in the other and see which one gets filled first, right? I mean, that's where we're at.
Right.
You know,
So-
you mentioned cost recovery and you mentioned it in the form of billing,
Yeah.
which maybe that should actually start.
All
I'm
I
just,
have
easy
to
for
do
me,
to my
'cause I'm not
brother
gonna
is
be-
say yes, and he's been waiting for us to move on it.
because it would do a couple things. It would help the cash flow, but it would also start getting the message out to people that we're doing it because we have to, because I've had people come in here for the transfer station saying, well, we pay taxes for that. Why do we have to pay for a transfer ticket? And it's like, that's the same argument that you're talking about you're gonna get.
Right.
The infrastructure is there. You gotta pay people whether you actually need it or not. Then when you're actually using the service,
Mhm.
that might also cut
Mhm.
back on the non-emergency calls.
Probably not, but at least
You
we're
don't
gonna
think
get something
so?
back from it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What
that-
about fundraising? Is that a consideration or you can't get volunteers for that either?
We can do that, but then we're fundraising. We're taking our people's time, which they're not coming to the calls. And reallocating it to special projects that, I mean, yes, it's doable. But is it really where I wanna spend my,
How many spaghetti suppers do you have to do
Yeah.
to get a fire truck? Probably about 1,000.
well, and back in the 1900s, in the 1990s, I should say, when my brother and I were coming up. Yes, our fire department did do that. We wanted coats, fundraise for the coats.
Yep.
We wanted a thermal imaging camera. We did that too. And then we, as an association, donated to the fire department. You don't have that desire from any of the men to do that. That is not a current day thought process. I can guarantee you that won't happen.
So
Not,
as far as cost recovery, then, there are no other ideas really, other than billing for service, right?
Well, we take donation.
I wrote the resolution for Dave to do that,
not
What's
to,
that? To
not
do
to,
what?
cost recovery. And he liked it not to do it, but when he started talking to people, that was getting very upset if we did it.
This is, and I totally get that, but that goes back to, we're gonna do that because that's our policies. And then if they decide as voters that they don't wanna have the service, that's entirely, man, I'm cool with that. I can allocate my time other places. I am totally cool with that.
But you know what you just said though, what if they're not gonna do it, then we put all this money, if we buy new trucks and new things, and then 10 years from now, we can't get it even about, we pay these people, we still can't get them to do it.
Do you wanna know that, there are two still volunteer-only departments, off on that one. They get their cost, they get their pay, if you will, in extravagant equipment. Extravagant equipment, not just the, your Chevy, they get the Rolls Royce equipment. And they get dinners and this is and that's catered and this is so they're getting paid, it's just not in, here's a
they
paycheck.
get allocations from the other townships that they serve as
But
well.
where I was going with this is many departments are adopting the model of paying their cadets to show up. They're paying people to stand by the station just to be at the station. I'm gonna pay you $20 a night. I'm gonna pay you $20. You sleep at the station and then if there's a call, then you get your call wage as well. That's where we're at. It's not something that I've created, but that's what is going on.
It's evolved.
It's where it's at.
How does Bloomingdale do it then? Aren't they just all volunteers or are they?
They get a stipend.
The chief gets one, and the assistant chief, I think, gets one of the, yeah.
And again, potatoes and potatoes.
Yeah.
If you don't want EMS, super fine, because we already pay a county tax, we already pay the blah, 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 blah to life,
Right, yeah.
super fine and dandy. But I can tell you that when I'm sitting on scene for 15 minutes doing CPR by myself, I'm glad that we purchased a Lucas, because that's my partner. You prep the choo 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 choo. He was doing compressions. I put the airway in. I mean, I gave the guy the best chance he had.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to be, ungrateful or anything, but I think we kicked this horse around
Absolutely.
enough, we gotta get moving on.
I agree. Good conversation.
But it is good.
Yeah,
And
So what I hear you say is you already directed a previous chief to do this. And it doesn't sound like there's a problem here. So I'm gonna let the dog off the chain and get my brother on it.
Well, let me dig it back out and I'll send it to you.
That's it.
Can you give the citizens one time for free and then after that, then you charge?
or we can put out a newsletter or something saying that that is the next step, that we have to begin charging. And that is gonna get public awareness too.
yeah, you can't
It's
just drop
it's
it
gonna
on them.
take the hit. So my brother, again, he has a lot more knowledge, but there's contractual write-ups that you'll always, but, they're gonna bill the insurance company. Okay,
What
so
if the people don't have insurance?
then that's where those contractual write-offs come. Can't pay it, it goes through the system, and then they'll say, do you wanna just write this one off or not? He's right.
So you're saying you hire a company to do this for you?
Absolutely, there's not one chance in any kind of hell that I'm gonna do this.
So are we really gonna make any money then by the time you pay? them?
Absolutely. Because their fee is based on them collecting.
Well, the other thing you can do, and I think you do that whenever possible, is if you have a fire, a structure fire, they're insured, you $500 from the insurance company.
Well, and that's the minimum expectation,
Yeah,
right?
You could bill more than that, and it's possible that that's all you get.
Yeah.
But this other
Okay.
third-party company,
They're the ones that I give them the billing information.
so is, just one more clarification. So you say put it on the ballot, but isn't this already like a SAD?
Yeah,
It is a
it's a
Does
special
it have to go on
assessment
the ballot?
district rather than something that comes up on the ballot now. But I saw you gave language back in March. A proposed ballot language. I don't know if you remember this.
Mhm.
To put, I think you wanted 0.5 mils
For the EMT,
at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess you could have a mix, keep it as a special assessment district and still ask for an additional mill.
well, it's a different purpose, right?
Yeah, cause that reminds me of back
Well-
with Stacy, she didn't think you guys were allowed to do
Then
medical
you
at
gotta
all
have something
on
other
the,
than
on the
emergency
special assessment
services,
as written.
because it all falls under that. And that's how you started this originally, with the health and safety.
Our goal is.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
way back
another,
when.
that's
Our goal
another,
is the health and safety of our citizens.
that's right, that's another, conversation, but anyway.
We do far more medical than we
Yeah.
do fire.
Well,
Okay.
and that's the
Oh,
other
yeah.
thing that I was thinking is it possible to cut back on the fire side in any way? Because the medical seems to be where you're having more calls. And because of mutual aid,
No, I
I
got
wondered
you.
if you can do that. On the
What would you like me to
apparatus,
Cut back.
well, I don't know how
I
to
mean,
fight
that's the
these
question
things.
is, the reality of it is, we have the pieces in place we need to
Okay,
do everything. Now it's to the point where previous administrations, and it wasn't just Dave, I mean, you had two chiefs before that, the two previous chiefs, while nice guys, sort of, maybe, they did some really dumb things.
Mm.
They did not, they were not good managers.
money managers or equipment managers or both?
Well, yeah.
Both.
Just to throw this out, I'm gonna have I know he's hunting, so he hasn't called me. But I'm gonna have a sit-down talk with Dan, sheriff. See if there's some other options that are available. That I think is gonna hopefully alleviate some of this issue that we have. But I have to talk to him first. And then I'll bring it to the board, bring it to the fire department.
Anytime you guys got questions, I'm cool to answer them, and like I said, if we're gonna do, I'll just word it by Jeremy, just tell them, hey, we're leaning this way. You know, what are some of your contacts, so we can get them lined up and ready to go.
See, I never heard of that at all.
But Jeremy has been told a couple of different times to get stuff ready to go,
And then nobody pulls the trigger.
and then not only that, so he uses his contacts, gets everything ready to go, and when he gets off, it's like a pit bull, he will not let go. And then it doesn't go through, and now he's burned that contact.
Mm.
Yeah, that's not right.
Kind of like right now, we're in that status limbo with the mini pumper. This is the third time we've approached this same dollar. Right? There's gonna be a time when people just won't talk to us until we first give them all the money and then they'll talk to us. So I mean, but that was none of you guys. It was like previous administrations. I mean, it's the system that we deal with.
Okay, let's move on, I think, huh?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the clerk, the treasurer, and their deputies as authorized signers to conduct Columbia Township business and transactions effective November 20th, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Karen's gonna make that motion. Can I get a second? Come on, guys, sure. Jason got the sure. This gotta be roll call. Ken, Jess, Gary,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
Mary,
Yes,
Jason.
Yes.
Congrats, Carol.
Transfer station snow plowing, can I get a motion to approve Douglas Lawn Care for snow plowing the transfer station?
I have a
thought-
question. You volunteered
You
to
said
do
you were gonna
that.
do that.
I
at
said
a
I'd mow the
meeting.
lawn.
No, you said you'd plow it.
I'll make that motion. I'll make that motion that we. pay
No,
Douglas Lawn
I don't
Care.
remember that.
He just needs a key.
We both thought that.
I said I'll mow it, and then I was gonna cut the trees down and straighten the fence out.
Well. So this.
When did I say that?
I'll second it,
Oh, so 100 per,
per push.
okay.
He just needs a
He
key.
needs a key.
Did you say?
Not to exceed 1,000, so he's only gonna do it 10 times?
Yep,
Or
and
more
after
than
that, no more garbage.
So Mary, were you the
Shut
one
it
that
down.
made the motion?
Yes,
And did somebody second you?
Gary seconded it.
No more than 10 fire calls.
We just throw it
Well,
over
if we
the
Okay,
fence.
roll call. Ken, yes. Gary,
Yes,
is that a yes?
yes.
You're laughing too much. Karen,
Sure, yes.
Mary,
Yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Holy
Eckenberg subdivision.
crap on the cracker.
Where's that?
Eckenberg subdivision.
Turkey back.
I had a lady come up to me and say that, from the road to, Silver Lake is public property and that there's too many people pouring concrete and making permanent structures on the other side of the road.
Okay, publication,
Okay?
Clifford Bloom. Michigan Lakes and Streams.
Oh, he's a smart guy.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
This is number 9, under the appendix. I'm gonna read this quickly. In order to constitute a riparian property, land must touch both the body of the water. One exception is when there was a road right of way runs parallel along the shore of the lake and there is no intervening of land, or there's no intervening land between the body of water and the road right of way when the right of way was created. In such cases, the first tier of lots fronting on the road normally deemed to be riparian. That is, their lot lines are usually deemed to extend under the road right of way to the lake. And there's a couple of court cases here. And what this means is the road right of way is the county road right of way extends to the water. So they can do whatever they need to do in the right of way. But the landowner owns the property. It even goes on to say in the rest of the appendix that the bottom land is actually theirs as well. So,
Does that still say like a pie shape into the middle?
Yeah.
What's the issue on this? What's
Oh, no.
going on with this?
09. I don't know
A
what the issue
person
is, but
complained or not?
if this lady's thinking that, it's incorrect.
go
She's
ahead,
wrong.
Dixie.
It's probably secondary lots wanting access to the water, where the first lots are saying that that's their beach. It's a subdivision.
Oh,
It's
So there's
Is it
no,
like
there's no
sandwich?
public beach?
No.
No,
so-
not
so the
Silver
secondary
Lake.
lots
No.
want access to the water.
Sure.
But the primary lots are the ones that say, that's our property, that's
Right.
our beach.
Does their
That's right.
deed say deeded access to the lake? I wonder.
Or
The
is that
secondary?
subdivision? I don't know if they have.
Unless there's an easement for the back lots.
Right.
They're-
Didn't that happen with you before? Did you have something on Silver Lake that was on,
You had that.
between the
That's
road?
That's not in the subdivision.
Okay. So that's the difference.
Where's the subdivision? Toward
subdivision.
Is that on
53rd?
the east,
Okay,
west side of the lake?
subdivision starts at, okay, come down, 53rd Street.
Yeah.
She hits Silver Lake and that, road that goes up to,
Behind your dad's
Little
property?
Hill, Little Hill.
Okay,
That's where it starts. No, I take that back. It starts at the Beauty Road. It goes all the way over to where my parents' flat was. and then
Okay.
It goes all the way back to Saddle Lake.
okay.
Okay.
So. that
So do
means-
we have someone arguing with somebody else? Is this a civil?
Said they're
thing
gonna
going
sue
on?
us
They're gonna sue us?
What's the VBC?
Why? Why is this a problem?
because we're allowing it.
Well, we're not allowing
not.
anything. The law allows it.
I don't even know how you'd have any interest in it. How could you be a party to the suit?
That's not gonna work.
Well, if you look at the parcel map, some of the parcels go right to the lake and cross the road and some don't. Not that that's accurate, but kind of confusing if I was just looking at it. I
I don't know, but what that means is the road commission has the right of way to the water. It's not public.
Well,
It's,
subdivisions are different than regular.
I asked your
Parcels.
commission about that. You got an email from.
I know, it's not right.
But
It
that
depends
came
on
from
what
the
they're-
road
That came from the
commission,
road
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
what is-
the way they look at it might not be.
On their right of way,
safe.
she's right.
Back
They
here,
do have
they
the
should
right of
have
way.
access to Silver Lake.
But that's pretty clear.
Oh.
In order
So
to
they'd have to-
constitute
they'd have to
by riparian property,
Traverse
the land
across someone
must
else's
touch
property to get to the lake.
a body of water.
I heard before though that that was public and somebody on the board deeded it to the, is that just a rumor?
No,
Oh, there's never any
it
rumors
touches the
around.
water, and that's, yeah. Anyway,
I heard Jason is gonna be the next
Where'd
president.
you get that at?
It's probably in here.
I ordered it and paid for it from Michigan Lakes and Streams.
Yeah,
Well, subdivisions are different than regular plats.
I've got
too.
another one that's called Nuts and Bolts and also Myths,
Written up,
okay, we're gonna do nothing with that, right?
right?
yeah, please don't.
Okay, we got that.
Is it, somebody's gonna sue us, we're gonna do nothing?
They,
We'll let our attorneys deal with it.
Okay.
I'll tell her
We
that
don't
she
know.
needs to give Clifford Bloom, have him send a letter to the township. That's her attorney.
That's her attorney?
And then won't our attorney just write a reply and we're,
what's her, who's
So
her attorney?
So is that why you made your comment
Clifford
about he's a
Bloom?
smart guy?
He is a smart guy.
Clifford Bloom is her attorney?
Yeah, out of Grand Rapids.
How do you know that?
She told me.
Well, that doesn't mean it's so.
I agree with you, Gary. I don't believe half the shit I hear.
I mean, why would he say one thing and put something else in a book in writing?
I don't know.
I will, we talked about the generator, yellow light being on. You're gonna take care of that, Gary?
Yes,
Public comments? Anyone? Okay, only one.
Okay, now for to fix the sewer at the, junction or the fire station, how wide are we gonna have to cut the pavement for?
And why is it two?
Okay, and for how many, like 30 feet?
Probably at least.
Okay, so, and then, okay, so they're gonna cut it, they're gonna remove like the in there, and then they're gonna dig down, they're gonna just, put the new section of pipe in there, that's it. That's all they're doing.
As far as, that's what I understand them to doing, yeah.
Are they gonna put a higher schedule of pipe in there?
I'd have to. go
They
back.
probably got 40 in there, and you
I'll
probably need
go
80.
back and look at the thing, but
Well, it's
when
gonna
someone
match
says
up
they're
with the
gonna
other
fix it,
pipe,
I don't
they
ask
just put
them
a
how.
place in it.
Well, the other thing too is like Ken's saying about.
Yeah, that's what I would do, but you still could use 80 schedule there. It wouldn't match up with 40.
Area slopes uphill, right? So probably there's, stuff in the pipe because it's not being pushed all the way out. Then when it freezes in the winter time, of course it cracks. So maybe you need a lift station.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm
Lift
saying?
stations are,
I have a lift station.
I don't.
well, now, wait a minute, okay. I have a lift station on mine as well, because I have above the ground septic.
Okay, mine is level with the grass. I mean, I don't have a raised system.
Then why do you have a lift station?
Because
Get it
my
on the basement
my
house.
lot is sloped. And so it lifts it from, back behind my
Okay,
house.
okay, yeah, no,
here.
okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
So I'm thinking, why would you need a lift station too? I mean, if his is sloped.
Oh, cause you don't want it to happen again, is why you're saying, and at the cost, I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean,
What, you fix it, we see what happens, and if that
Is
doesn't,
your drain field
not our
higher?
solution, then we'll have to.
that's
If
what
it
he's
is,
saying.
that would be the stupidest.
I
design
don't,
ever.
I can't believe that's the case.
Well, that's what he's saying, it's north and it slopes uphill right to the north.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No,
not-
it's got some low spots in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's,
where the trucks run over it, it made low spots.
Oh, yeah, that's probably what you were, in the low spots, those where the trucks have been rolling.
No, I meant the land itself, because doesn't it go up?
No, the pipe underground slopes properly. It's
No.
got a,
No. I thought,
Okay,
it
so
quarter
the
inch at
slope
10 feet, so-
Properly in the drain field is, not any higher than what the building is.
I think if you look at it, Dixie, the topography goes up, but it's way by the fence. It's not it's not even where the tower is, and that's flat.
Okay, so there's no need for a lift station.
I wouldn't think so.
the Lake Shore would tell you,
They-
because
right,
they would
I-
wanna sell
I
you
rely
more
on
if
the
they need it,
experts to
right?
Tell me that stuff.
Sure,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
sure.
they're- Oh, they're septic also, huh?
All done? Announcements, any?
The only thing I was gonna, we're not at board comments, right?
Okay, Gary, board comments.
I was just gonna mention, I already did, I'm gonna have a sit-down talk with the sheriff and see if there's some options we can handle alleviate some of the problems here with, ambulance, fire department and our deputy as well.
Jason?
Thank you, Karen, for stepping in and serving as our treasurer honorably for your duration. We'll miss you.
Oh, she's not going anywhere.
She'd be right here.
Oh.
Be looking at her, yeah.
Mary?
Yes, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Kara. Yeah. And the elections were done. Please don't ever ask me to do anything like that again.
It's not your problem, it's her problem.
It's her problem now. I mean, it's very easy and fun and exciting. How you, Kara?
Kara, if you need help, just call Mary.
Yeah. But yes, thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. It's been enjoyable working with you. I love your advice. I do take it. I do listen to it, and I normally take action with it. So,
There's only one problem with this.
You still.
When she was working here, I never saw her. I never saw her. She was in the office, she was down here.
You're
It
gonna
was,
see the office
it
a
was
lot
great.
more, but.
there's no doubt that you spend a lot of time down there. Because when I drive to see my mother, your car's here when I come back. So I do appreciate all the work you've done for the township.
And that's something we mutually appreciate about each other is we definitely devote
You
time.
guys put your time in.
We do.
Yeah, well, this is your
Both work
comment
very
time
hard
now.
at it.
I,
Sorry, Gary.
I appreciate everybody doing these jobs because they sometimes feel pretty thankless. They
$2
certainly
an
are
hour, that's a.
And I think it's real healthy to have sometimes that you're not in agreement and you bat it back and forth. And we've had very few times that it hasn't turned out to be 4 or 5 voting the same way. And I think partly because we batted things around, we dodged a bullet on passing the workable too early. And we might have wound up in a situation that we later regretted, but you don't always have that foresight. But everybody has been respectful with each other, even when we don't agree. And yes, I will still be attending and put my 2 cents in. But anyway, I think we all care about our township and our citizens' needs. So.
Do we need to talk anything about, just going with Foster Swift for all our legal matters instead of having 2 attorneys?
I would actually say it was good that we had a second opinion. It could have gone the exact opposite, where the one we started with, it could have been the other. Personally, I equate it to like, when you go to a doctor's visit, sometimes you're very glad to have a second opinion, but the planning commission, their relationship with the different attorney matters and Tasha's relationship. Anybody can make new relationships, but it did seem like there was kind of a group there that was working well together.
I personally, my opinion is Catherine does a good job. She's in the state. A lot of times in discussions and maybe a little bit more so than Foster Swift. Foster Swift is a large company. And that they do well by us. I'm not saying that at all, but I think that Catherine is more geared for personal conversations, maybe a little bit more in that particular field, is a little bit more knowledgeable. So I don't see any reason not to have them both, actually.
And it was interesting hearing them describe why they had a different viewpoint,
Right.
because she said they take the conservative approach, like kind of keep everybody out of trouble kind of thing. And Foster Swift, I mean, he referred to himself as a troublemaker, but he meant well by that. Like, I'm more of a fighter. Like, if you're in litigation, maybe it's Foster Swift you want, but if it's more procedural, and I do think they cost less.
Can't we get that from
Catherine.
MTA though? we pay $4,000 to MTA, and since she works for MTA, shouldn't we?
I wish everybody on any commission would do more free classes with MTA and calling them, emailing them. They're usually pretty quick to get back and they know the answers.
Now,
But I'm
Cindy,
saying she works for them, so are we getting that through our MTA thing? Do we need to have a separate
Well,
attorney?
well, yes, because if you contact MTA, you can get general information all day long. But as soon as it gets specific to your township and a certain thing, they say, contact your legal representative.
yep,
They don't drill down that deep. But the
Well-
basic training, I think, is valuable. in MTA.
Well, if people don't start using it, we need to get rid of it.
Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at, 8:45.
Can I ask another question now that we're off the record? For the oaths tomorrow, who does that?